Good afternoon, I'm Parker Padgett.
I'm Tony Nguyen.
And this is another edition of our Vinyl Vault where we're taking a look at some of the records from our past and we're examining them in the present. Maybe you'll listen to them in the future. That's a line. That's a line now.
Well done.
That's a line. Thank you. Today we're talking about Crying Time. It is a studio album from Ray Charles from 1966, and it was actually, according to our research, the first release from his label, Tangerine, which was distributed by ABC and Paramount. And so, obviously, this week, Tony, you got a chance to listen to this album. Kind of talk to me about your initial reaction upon first or second listen.
Having only listened to some of his singles and not really listening to the blues for a very long time, it was kind of refreshing to kind of hear his voice again, and then obviously the genre of like blues and especially his like soul music that like you really feel that throughout the album. And so for me, it was pretty enjoyable listening to each of the songs, going down the list and everything like that. A couple of standouts for me was No Use Crying. I really liked Let's Go Get Stoned. I don't know what that's about. And
in
then
1966, it could have meant anything.
Yes. And I also liked We Don't See Eye to Eye. Thought it was a humorous song.
That's about a relationship, I believe. I would argue, actually, most of these songs are about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
apologize. Keep going.
what else gives you the blues than the relationships that work and don't work, and mostly don't work? Because, I mean, you're in for a big surprise.
Well, that's a song title, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we got that clear.
Yeah.
So, this is an album that came out after he did his, modern Western sounds album, and he kind of did a lot of country and gospel covers. And you can kind of tell, the first track, Crying Time, was written by Buck Owens, and you can tell that was a cover to an extent. And, it worked out. And it's just, you listen to the first side of this album, Crying Time, No Use Crying, Let's Go Get Stoned, Going Down Slow, Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind was probably one of my favorites on this album because it had that call and response with the blues. He would say a line and you'd hear like the same riff after and leads into the next line. So that, to me, that's that traditional rhythm and blues. And those were, they're kind of slow. They got some big band sound to them, some jazz. And then the side B with Drifting Blues, that's just 6 minutes of nothing but your stereotypical, 60s blues.
Yeah.
If that's a good song to listen to if you just want to listen to the blues for 6 minutes. We Don't See Eye to Eye. You're in for a big surprise. You're Just About to Lose Your Clown, which when I first read that title, I thought he was going to say crown, but obviously he's implying he's the clown. And that the person he's singing to is about to lose him, and that was probably, I think, one of the faster songs on the album.
Yeah,
I was listening to it, and I, Ray Charles is known for Hit the Road Jack, What I'd Say, some faster paced songs, and it was kind of lacking that up tempo style, and then you get to You're Just About to Lose Your Clown, and then it's like, oh, there it is. And the last two, kind of slow, big band, jazz. He incorporated a lot of horns in this album. But the thing that I like the most, and I was doing some research here, is the use of the electric organ. There's a couple of songs in this album that it just comes out of the blue. It's not part of the initial setup of the song. It really throws you off. I was listening to one on the way into work today, and then that's when the organ kicked in, and I was like, wait a minute. I did not know there was going to be an organ in this song, but it's according to the research for this album, it was played by Billy Preston, which a lot of people are familiar with as infamously the fifth Beatle, and so he played a couple tracks on there, and so it's always interesting to see albums from a previous time and then learning about who was on it, who played in it, and knowing the names that we know now. Billy Preston's somewhat of a famous name, and he was probably lesser known at that time. So
I was also surprised by the electric organ. I honestly thought that listening to the album that it was going to be like Ray Charles on it, and I was like, I didn't know that he deviated, not that it's too far off from from the piano. But yeah, it was a surprise to hear that it was someone else, and then the collaboration of the two. It's one of those sounds that you don't really hear anymore. The electric organ, as it's kind of like died off. It'd be kind of cool to see if there's any more modern albums that still use the electric organ, or maybe bring it back.
That was it. I think the last song that I've heard with an effective electric organ was Digital Underground's Same Song, which that's definitely a deep cut. I think you're actually starting to see kind of a resurgence. We talked about this. I want to say maybe last year, showing you some music of people kind of bringing back this like retro sound. It's more of like an 80s kind of retro sound, which is completely unrelated to this specific album. But we're starting to see more instruments from the past making a comeback. I mean, I get on social media and see videos of people covering songs with a talk box.
Yeah.
Which was much more famous in the 80s, but it's interesting to see now. But I like this album. I talked to you this morning about it and said, not a lot of the major hits that we know Ray Charles for. No Georgia on My Mind. I mentioned it earlier. What I'd Say Part 1, Hit the Road Jack. This album didn't have those, but this was I think from front to back, this was a great Ray Charles album. It was that essential Ray Charles sound, even if you didn't know a lot of the songs.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely. He has such a distinctive voice and just general style that oh, that's Ray Charles. Like, I might not know this song, but like, because it's the blues and there's a 12-bar structure and things like that, you just know that, like, okay, yeah, like, I don't know which album this is from, but this is definitely Ray Charles. And
despite the lack of heavily recognized song titles, this did, according to our research, reach 15 on the Billboard Top Albums, but also number 1 in the Top Rhythm and Blues albums. So obviously a commercial success in 1966 for Mr. Charles, but it's great to enjoy in 2025. Yeah. So, Tony, final thoughts?
Looking forward to listening to other songs, but also kind of makes me want to listen to the albums that do have some of the singles, as a reoccurring thing that I've been enjoying of like how is an album structured together, and where does a single fit in it, and if there's any thought process of why songs are placed in the order that they are, and things like that. So yeah, looking forward to just this journey in general, and more Ray Charles.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to continue doing this series, but if you have a favorite album of Ray Charles, or a favorite song, maybe it's not off this album, but if you have a favorite song of his, sound off in the comments, let us know what you think. Or if there's any specific, maybe not specific, or genres or eras you want us to possibly explore, we can see what we can do, and let us know that as well. For the Final Vault, I'm Parker Padgett.
Tony Nguyen.